Thank you again for watching my video. Tonight what I want to talk to you about is making changes in your life. And what would it require you to make these changes? One of the things that you're going to need is desire. The other thing that you have to acknowledge is that whenever you want to make a change in your life, you have to come to the point to where there is self-denial. Because if you don't deny yourself, you are going to battle with a lot of things in the process of making these changes. I talk with a lot of people, and a lot of people tell me that I want to go ahead and change. I want to lose the weight. I want to be a better person. I want to stop doing the things that I'm doing because I'm tired of it. And I encourage them that they have to first acknowledge who they are as a person. I think that in order for you to help someone in a problem, you really have to find out what was the problem that took them there. I don't like to condemn people when they tell me the reasons why they find themselves in these situations. I have compassion for them. I was there before, and I'm still in the process of making a lot of changes in my life. I never put God out of my conversations with anyone. I usually tell people that you have to acknowledge that first you are a spirit being. You live in this physical body, but in reality you are a spirit being, and you have to understand that. And that your life is not an accident. Your life is a purpose on earth. And I get them to really focus on that first. And I begin to how do I say, have them find faith in themselves. It's wonderful, and I'm all for it. Have faith in God. But you need to have faith in yourself. You need to believe in yourself. We tell people all the time, well, God believes in you, then you should believe in yourself. And we leave them like that. And they go and they try to make the changes, and they see a little improvement, and then all of a sudden they make a mistake, or they sin, or they fall, and they just lose all hope. And I think that I think that we need to really be patient with people when it comes to changes. I think that what we share with them is very important on the changes that we've experienced in our lives. you know um, and if it's faith in God, then know that there is wisdom, and that the God that you have, the God that you serve, always does things in an orderly way. I think that in order for you to become a witness to someone, you need to become a friend first. And when you become a friend with someone, there is a trust that begins to open in that person's life. And if you study the Bible, you find out that Jesus was a friend to many, and that was his way of ministering to people. He was very strong with people of the church, but he wasn't really that strong with people who were not of the church. And I leave it at that. Going back to making changes in your life, yeah, you need a desire. And the desire has to be something that you really wanted with passion. Simply having a desire is not enough, because we have desires for many things. We have desires for food, we have desires for vacation, we have a desires for... So we tend to misunderstand, or we really don't know how to distinguish the desire for change and the desire for pleasure. And I think that anytime you make a change in your life, you're really gonna have to deny yourself. And denying yourself means that it is going to hurt along the way, and you're going to find people who will make fun of you or even talk about you because of the changes that you're making. One of the things that I tell people is that you cannot live on people's opinion or the words that they say about you. You have to learn to continue to move forward. Because if you don't move forward and you stop for a moment, you become distracted on the changes that you want to do. And if it's losing weight, then you have to make that decision that what I'm going to do, it is going to benefit my health versus me not eating all of the foods that I was eating before in the past that were no good. So that is something that I try to encourage people to really understand to making changes. I always say that you need faith, and I always say that you need hope, and you need this in order for you to become inspired on what you want to do with your life. Again, the greatest of everything the Bible says is love. Without love, you know what? You can accomplish everything in the world. You can lose all the weight in the world. You can buy that big home and drive that nice car. But if you don't have love, then everything really doesn't profit at all. Only for a little bit. But going back to making changes in my own personal life, when I decided to go ahead and lose the weight, that I was in bad shape. I took a look at myself, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I seen a person that I didn't hate. I just was not happy with, and I didn't know where to begin. And I know that I said this before. A friend talked to me about losing weight, about eating healthy, but I had to look at myself and tell myself, why am I overweight? And I had to really accept the fact that the reason why I was overweight was because of what I was eating wrong. And I acknowledged that part, and then I began to research on what it is to eat healthy. Not a diet, but to eat healthy so I can lose the weight and not find myself on another diet. And it happened. It happened slowly, but it happened. And I think that when you want to make a change in your life, it doesn't happen overnight. And if you think that, it's going to happen overnight, it really doesn't. And there are times where it may take you a year to finally get to the place to where you really want to be at in life. But if you stay persistent and you understand that you are going to have to deny yourself, in other words, you're going to deny yourself from the things that you used to do before. If you got angry, if you got upset, if you liked to swear a lot and now you don't want to swear anymore, if you got easily offended, you work on not being offended in order for you to get to the place where you want to be in. And I think that God's plan is for everybody to live a wonderful life. I believe is true. Of course, it's not, because we see what's happening in the world today. And unfortunately, because people don't know, for a lack of knowledge, people destroy themselves, And, I sometimes in life, and I'll say this, there are times in life where you really have to go through some really hard times. It's not God's will. It isn't God's will. But I think that the choices we make and the decisions we make, when we're given counsel or counseling and we reject it, unfortunately, we would have to go through some really hard times. And I hope that anyone who is going through a hard time finds hope and faith to say, I can change. And you may have to do this on your own. I encourage you that if you want to change your personality and you really don't know where to begin at, trust in the grace that God gives you, and also Go on YouTube and look up videos on people talking about how to make changes in your life. Take the good, and what you think doesn't apply to you, then throw it away. That's what I do. I'll read something and I find it that it applies to me, it can help me, and I stick with it. And then there are other things that I read or I'm listening to that just does not go easy with me. And what I do is I just push it to the side. I don't criticize it because that is not the person that I want to be. I want to make changes. And I think that anytime you want to make changes, yeah, you need a desire. You need to understand that you got to deny yourself, and finding people that will encourage you, inspire you to do something. See, you can be inspired, but now you need to act on what you're doing. You want to lose weight, and simply saying, I want to lose weight, and for just 2 or 3 days you stop eating. Well, that doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. The best way to do it is begin to eliminate one thing and replace it with one good thing. And anytime you want to make a change, whether it's your personality, whether it's how your character is, whether it's how you do work, then take one thing that is bad out of there and replace it with something else. That even includes friends. There are people who say, well, everybody is my friend and I love them and I love them, but they're not. What they impart to you, they don't share with you that something that is going to help you to make these changes that you want, whether it's losing weight, again, whether it's just you personally becoming a better person. And I think that if you really understand that the desire has to come with something where I deny myself and accept what's going to come, but overcome it. And I talked about this in the beginning of this video, that there are times where you'll see someone who is in a big problem, and there are many times I've come to understand that simply getting them out of that problem is not the best thing to do. They have to acknowledge the reason why they are there. I'm not saying that you beat them over their head and you tell them and you say, tell me. They have to be the one to admit to themselves the reason why I'm like this, and admit to the reason why they've gotten there. And there's nothing like being honest with yourself. And when you're honest with yourself, then you're free. In other words, ask for forgiveness. If you feel, if that is your conviction, where you want to go to God and you want to tell God to forgive me for the sins that I've committed, then accept the fact that He has forgiven you, and then keep moving on with your life. You are a spirit being, like I said. You live in this body and you're surrounded with many people, and you hear many things. And if you're watching TV and you're listening to music, and you want to make these changes, you're going to have to eliminate some of those things out of your life. That is the only way that you can stay focused. I had to do that in my own personal life. Did I like everything that I let go of? No, I didn't. But I do like the results where I'm at today. And I'm moving forward closer to where I want to be at. You're, like I said, you have one life, and you don't get any younger, you get older. And as you get older, don't wait till you're 50 to say, let me start making these changes in my life. Begin today. I'm gonna say this. Ask God to help you, and not only ask God, but ask God to bring you the people that will help you change. See, I think that God has done everything wonderful. And I think that if you want healing, healing has already been given to you. If you want happiness, happiness has already been given to you. If you want joy, joy has already been given to you. Peace has been given to you. But we forget that. And we continue to ask for something that we already have. And then we our mind plays this game with us and tells us that, well, you didn't receive anything and you don't have it, and you believe it. And you have to remember that this brain here, this mind will lie to you, and it will tell you things that are not true. That is the reason why you have to take control of your thoughts, and you have to replace your thoughts with something that is better. It's like listening to a music that totally is garbage, a music that talks about depression, a music that talks about adultery. How is it that you replace it with something good? Find a song that doesn't talk nothing about that. Now you've replaced something, see? And that's exactly what you have to do with your mind. If I'm thinking a bad thought, then I gotta replace it with a better thought. And I have to force myself to do this. Use your words to talk to yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually gonna help you make these changes. It's like you're making a declaration. You're affirming something when you want to make a change. When you use your words, I am changing, and I am getting closer to where I want to be at in my way. I can only encourage you. Changes are possible, and denying yourself is probably the hardest thing, because you want to go ahead and voice your opinion. And I think that, you know what, forget about voicing your opinion. Forget about standing up for yourself and saying, well, I'm going to stand up and tell them who I am. Forget that. I think that the changes you make speak louder than your words. And I think that that's the best way that you should go ahead and begin making these changes. Whether you're a male or female, you can make changes today for the better. You know, we talk about all the problems in the world. We talk about all the hunger in the world. And we can talk all about that. But it takes a change in a person to be able to become an influence in someone else's life. If you really want to be a blessing to someone, it's not simply preaching to them. It's actually the changes that you make that they can see, and the help that you give them in order for them to change. Remember this: if you have faith in God, then trust that God's plans are bigger than yours and greater than your plan, and that He knows all of the things. You know, you do what you are called to do with your ability and what the tools that you have. Don't try to do something that you cannot do. When you try to do something that you cannot do, you mess it up. Leave someone else do that. I can only share with you, and maybe someone else will come in your life and will finish it off. You start losing weight and you start denying yourself, and God will connect you to the people that you need, that will stand with you and not meddle with your life, but simply just stand with you and allow you to make these changes. Even though you fall, even though you make a mistake, they're there as your support, and that's their grace. I leave you with this tonight. You can change. Yes, you can. You want to change your attitude. You want to be a better communicator. You want to be more compassionate. You want to be more loving. You want to be more forgiving. Then start today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Turn off the things that are becoming of a distraction in your life. Do it for a time, whether it's a week, whether it's 2 weeks, whether it's 5 months, whether it's a year, whether it's 2 years or 3 years. And I'm telling you, when you make a decision to change, you know what? It's like heaven, and it's like the universe pays attention to what you're doing. and they respond to that desire that you have. It's amazing how it works out, and it's not something you force. It's amazing that when you learn how to eat healthy, you lose the weight and you don't even realize it. And it's not something that it's not something like a diet in the past where you feel this hurt and all of this sacrifice. You don't, that doesn't work that way. You know, it's only on TV and billboards that you see this. But in reality, any changes has to come with self-denial. And you have to deny what you want. And stick with people who are going to stand with you on that basis. In other words, you want change, but yet you want to stay in the old. And you can't do that. You know what? When I started changing, there were still things that I still battled with. And my mind would tell me, well, it's not working out. But I had to deny that, and I had to continue to move forward. Because if I don't move forward, like I said before, you begin to become distracted on what you want and what is more important. If you don't value yourself, then you can't make the changes. That's totally different than what a lot of people may tell you. And do I believe in prayer? Yes. Do I believe that you should read your Bible? Yes. Do I believe that you should have faith in God? Yes. But simply telling God, take it all, here's everything, you make it, it doesn't happen that way. It really doesn't. You know, there is such a thing that says that grace has been given to you. And that grace is something that helps you where you find yourself that you're weakened, and where you cannot measure to, that grace will give you that ability to be able to measure to what you want in life. And, you know, I leave you with that, you know, change. Make the decision to change. And don't play games. If it's for your health, it's for your health and no one else. If it's a change you want in your life, in your personality, because you're tired of the swear words that you're using and you find that that's the only, then there is a better way of communicating. Who said that you had to swear in order to make your point? That is nothing but a lie of Hollywood. You know, you gotta see yourself important. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror and look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that I am important. And you gotta do it until you believe it. And if no one else, you believe it. And I think that in order for you to make a change, you have to believe that it's possible. Just like prayer. If you pray, you have to believe that what you're praying for is being answered. Because if you pray and you don't believe that it's being answered, you're going to find yourself praying over and over and over and over for something that has already been answered in the heavens. I leave you with that tonight. Please share this video with other people who may need it. And I thank you for watching. From my heart to you, I say thank you and good night.